So anyhow, what do you think of that?
You're not filming.
Yeah, of course. The Trump victory.
Well, I think it's good. I think well, first of all, for America, I think it's good because
It is good.
People in America, a lot of
Yes.
people don't get much wages. They get up to 30,000 a year or something. Some poor.
Well,
people.
the cost of living is lower, but cars are cheaper. Appliance. Look, you wouldn't want to be poor in America. It's a fucking bitch of a place
Well,
to be
a
poor.
lot of them are poor.
Minimum wage in America, like you work at Walmart, like a Kmart, it's fucking $10 an hour.
Yeah, it's very low. It's bad, and they said the wealth is concentrated in 1% of the population. 99% of the population haven't got wealth.
No.
And if you're poor, you and your wife work, and you got to breathe. Well, houses are cheap too, outside the cities.
Yeah, outside New York. Yeah,
because
of
I was
course, yeah.
going somewhere, driving to Detroit, I think, and we went by train. And the little houses, a bit like the old Inala houses, that sort of very small.
Oh, Detroit's a ghost town, but
Now it is, because that was a car making town. And all these people, one, they don't get paid well. Two, they've lost their jobs. And these, like Clinton and that, she's making all this money, millions of dollars, taking $6 million out of that fund, whatever she's got.
Yeah, the Clinton Foundation.
But yeah, she's just making money from everywhere. And she's wealthy, and she just look after the poor.
Well, she doesn't. I tell you the truth. She's a board member of Walmart. She doesn't say, "Hey, let's give our Walmart staff health benefits." She's a fucking mean, vicious fucking bitch.
So, I think it's a good change, and people, all those polls. It's like a Pauline Hanson from.
But those polls, they're all wrong. The media's rigged.
No,
the media. The media had all they want to keep the status quo. They don't want this Trump to come in.
Well, but I think it's more than that. I think you can rig the media. When you take these polls, I think people were too afraid to say they're supporting Trump. They said, "Oh, I don't know, I'm undecided," or Hillary Clinton. But really, it's like here. If you said, "Who are you supporting?" You say, "Oh, well, Turnbull or the Labour mob," but you wouldn't say, "I'm supporting Pauline Hanson." And you might vote for Pauline Hanson.
Yeah.
And that's the same thing in America. And
yes.
So there was the people who didn't want to. They would just shit it off with politicians, because the political parties. You think in Australia we've got the same problem. Labor or Liberal are not helping the people.
No. Well, the thing I liked about Trump said to the Ford executives, he said, if you make your cars, you close the factory down here, I'll put a 35% tax on them, and they won't fucking sell.
Yeah, that's right. Well,
that's what they need. They need jobs in America.
Well, we need jobs in Australia.
Well, that's right. But I think this globalized world, that's a conspiracy. This globalized world where, look, globalization basically is modern day slavery, because what you do is all the steel products you make in China, where you don't have environmental laws. But the reason that I make steel in Australia is you can't pass the environmental laws and the labour rate's too high. But in China, there's virtually no very limited environmental laws. They can have blast furnaces. They can do. You pay off the right people.
Yeah,
it's a very corrupt country.
Well, I saw. I got for my birthday. Or a birthday for what was it for some Father's Day or something. I got this little glass case, right?
Yeah.
It's a nice leather case.
Yeah.
And inside it's got made in Bangladesh, right?
Yes.
Now in Bangladesh, if you're in the factory, I saw a documentary.
The documentary.
And you don't work.
They belt you.
They belt you. They cane you in front of everybody.
But Bangladesh. Speaking of Bangladesh is one of the poorest countries in the world. That's the textile capital of the world.
Yeah.
Why is it the textile capital? It's even cheaper than China.
It is. It's cheap,
This is how vicious it is. So I tell you the truth.
So I think it's
Trumpster in.
Yeah.
I think that's a very good thing. We need him. He's actually quite left wing in many policies. He's protectionist.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
That's not a left. That's not a right wing policy.
No, it's a left wing policy.
He's also not big party machine.
No.
I think it's good to have someone who hasn't always been a politician. Like all these politicians, they're all fucking long term career politicians.
Well, they said with Clinton, she's the people have supported her, and therefore she owes them.
Well, that's correct.
But Clinton, he hasn't. He's got support to a certain extent, but he doesn't owe anybody anything, or very few people, a lot fewer people he owes. So therefore, he might look after the population. I think there might be a good world trend, because I think if America goes like this, help the worker, improve your own country, help the citizen.
Yeah.
Then Australia might say, hey, Why aren't we doing that?
Well, it's the middle class that's falling. Like, you look at who is suffering when they close a factory down. They're good jobs. Okay, they may not be professional jobs, but they're semi-skilled jobs. They're good jobs to have in a country. That knowledge is very valuable thing.
I think it's good what's happening. I think
it's about
as they say, if it doesn't work in 2 years,
but the thing
4
is,
years
yesterday
time,
the
you
media
lose.
was reporting 2 days ago. The media was reporting 90% chance of Hillary winning. Well, that was a fucking lie.
Yeah.
It's because the media is trying to keep the status quo. They're part of the conspiracy.
But yesterday they were reporting a Trump 93% chance of winning, right at the end.
Well, it's a bit late at the end.
well, yeah. But anyway, I think it's going to be a good change. I sort of, like Obamacare. I don't know how it works because I'm comparing it to our Medicare. But because people need medical benefits, but America's different. I don't understand America properly. But in general, you have to help the general population. And look at us, like in pensioners here, they've got increase the asset test, increase the income. All of a sudden, we the people who need help, they're taking it away. And where are they giving it to? Tax subsidies to the big corporates or something. We also need a shake.
One thing I liked in Trump's victory speech, he mentioned the veterans.
Yeah, no, he's been with veterans all along.
No, I'm saying, but he's going to do something for veterans. The government in America does fuck all for the veterans.
Well, the veterans lay down their life for their country, come back with no legs.
They earn shit money. American soldiers aren't paid that well.
No.
They earn shit money. They go to shit places.
Put their life on the line.
And then they come back for fucking nothing.
Yeah, and then they're all traumatised and the body's been damaged. And
exactly right.
I think you have to look after your veterans no matter what.
Roddy,
a lot of the soldiers maybe in Australia are not that clever. They're sort of like my friend says, he's a sergeant there. They're rejects from civvy life. Can't get jobs in civilian, but
I think the military is very hard.
But not so much now, because now they want a more educated military.
But the military, you join the military, if you don't listen to what they say, they fucking kick you out.
Well,
they've got no time for.
Well, they belt you up first, don't they? They're nasty to you.
Yeah, but that's what the military is so good. It can take people who are unemployable, right,
and turn them into
fucking fighting machines.
Or at least reasonable citizens, who
of course,
who got some discipline, who wake up on time and go for a job interview.
Well, the military doesn't fuck around with you being late.
No.
They don't fuck around with that. Well, when you're in a war zone, there's no good saying, "Oh, I'm sleeping in."
That's right. So I think I hope it's a big change for the better. I hope that this is positive for America. I hope it's very positive, and it becomes positive for Australia.
The criticism of their foreign policy, when soldiers were hijacked and that, Obama tried to negotiate with them. He didn't go in there like if Trump will start fucking nuking them. They're not going to steal a fucking. This is the whole thing. Trump's not going to pussyfoot around. This is one of the criticisms of Obama, is that he's such a pussy when it comes to. He prefers to fucking negotiate. Like the Russians, they're cunts. Everyone knows the Russians are cunts. People don't touch the Russians.
They don't negotiate those.
They just fucking, they're just fucking vicious. But I think it's about time. I think Trumpster.
I'd like to see what happens now, and hopefully it's a positive trend for the world and positive for Australia. I think our mob. I mean, I don't know whether Pauline Hanson should be Prime Minister, but at least
our mob was saying they won a Clinton victory.
I know. Yeah.
The Liberals were saying Christopher Pyne, who's a real fucking cunt and a half. He's the lowest form of cockroach you can ever meet.
Yeah.
Christopher Pyne, he's a cunt. He was saying we want the Clintons to win, but the reality is, I think there's a flow-on effect. Maybe other countries won't have deals. You know what I mean? Yeah. Maybe other countries won't have fucking deals. Protectionism and that. This free trade shit is all a fucking crock of crap.
No, free trade in theory works.
No, but free trade means that it's someone who doesn't have environmental laws. That's why everything's made in Bangladesh and third world shitholes.
Yeah, they never thought as far as that. When I did economics, it was,
It didn't work. It was a Rockefeller conspiracy. It's these cunts.
If you use cheaper labour in India, it's better to use that, and we use our, whatever's cheaper there, so you make it there. And then if some people are better off and nobody's worse off, then the whole world's better off. But that's all right from a total, like people in India who had no work and now got work, say, or in Bangladesh, they had no work, at least they got some work and some sort of a living. So it helps them, but it pulls down us. So
Yes.
it pulls us down to help them. Now, as a total concept, that's a good concept. As a personal concept, it's a bad concept, because you don't want to be worse off, you want to be better off. And that's what's happening with the world. This world theory thing is that, the world is, as a general, is becoming better off, but we're becoming worse off. Our workers can't get jobs. Our kids are finishing school and can't get
Well,
work.
it's in IT, right? I used to work for Honeywell.
Yeah.
You know Honeywell?
Yeah.
It's where Greg works, right? And they sacked the entire Brisbane IT department. They have one employee there. He does computer swap outs because they need one person on the ground. I spoke to a lady in India. She said to me she earns 500 US a month. Well, an IT person in Australia would earn what? $1,000 a week.
Yeah, 5,000 a month. 5,000 a month, not 500 a month. Yeah,
You see what I mean?
that's right. No, exactly. And alrighty.
But when you live in Australia, you can't survive on 500 a month.
No.
Your rent is fucking 500 a week, isn't it? Well, you know, if you're,
So-
rent would be what, 400 a week.
So I think somebody has to sit down and rethink these concepts. But like what with Keating, he started this thing too. Free trade and decentralize and deregulate, and maybe there's some good in that. But that's liberal policy. That's capitalist policy is what he did. And maybe there's some good at the time, but now you're sort of thinking, well, our manufacturing industry's gone. There's no work and whatever, and they were subsidising this and subsidising
But I mean, you got to
that.
remember too, if a country can make cars or can make tanks or can make shit, it's good to have those skilled. That's a very valuable resource.
It is
They
very
can do other
resource.
things too. That training and knowledge.
For defence and
But that training and knowledge, if someone knows how to make a car, like a country has that knowledge, they can make other shit.
make a tank.
You can't you? But
Yeah.
if you fucking sold it all off to the lowest possible bidder,
Yeah, and you're buying parts for your tanks from Afghanistan.
well, where do you think all the Queensland Rail trains are coming from?
Where are they coming from?
They're coming from fucking India.
Are they?
Didn't you know that?
No, I knew they were coming from something like that. Yeah.
They used to be made in Maryborough. Walkers.
Yeah,
Walkers in Maryborough.
yeah.
Remember Walkers?
Yeah, Walkers Maryborough was a big.
That's closed.
Yeah,
Cheapest denominator.
and that's your Labor government.
It's your Labor government.
Well, it wasn't them. It's the Liberal did it too. The Liberals.
both sides
started
are just as
They're
bad.
both, they're both the same. Yeah, they should both be sacked, and you should put somebody like a Trump in.
Well, let's see what happens.
Yeah, I want to see what happens. But he's got support. He's got his Senate and he's got his reps. Now
Well,
he's got no excuse.
He's got no excuse.
He's got to get in there
And
and start doing things. Like he's going to. You said all the roads would run down America, roads and infrastructure. He's going to do that. And somebody's saying, where's he going to get the money from? Well, all he's going to do is stop supporting stop supporting the world, and
That's right.
Yeah.
Look at Japan.
They look
America
up.
provides military support for Japan. Well, why do they have to keep picking up the tab?
Yeah.
That is bankrupting them.
What's wrong with Japan? Why can't they do it? Yeah.
Well, the reason is because Japan was an aggressor before. They want to make sure Japan doesn't fucking. But the whole world has changed. Japan's not like that.
At the moment. Yes, it's interesting. You know what? But the thing is,
Japan's become a country now that makes cars that work and pussies that fuck.
You know what? You know what? The thing happens now. History has a habit of repeating itself. They say, right? Now, what's happening? The whole world's going this way. Like you had Brexit.
Yeah.
They went against the establishment. You went in Ireland, the homosexual vote. The getting married, same-sex marriage.
Sure.
Now that's anti-Catholic. It's a very Catholic country. In Australia, Pauline Hanson's getting support. Trump, right? So the whole world. Now, what happened previously? If you look back 50 years ago, you had Mussolini, you had Stalin, you had Hitler, and they sort of came on popular vote.
That's more than 50 years ago was 1965. We're talking 75 years.
75 years ago. Yeah, 75 years.
1965.
Yeah.
Can you believe that? That's 50 years ago. That's like yesterday.
Yeah, it's before I was born. Yeah, that's
Yeah,
right.
but you can remember 65, but can't you?
Oh, I can't. Yeah, but I was watching TV, and I was born in 48. You got there in 1941. Hitler's then rounding up the Jews. 7 years before.
Yeah.
Rounding up the Jews, shooting them, gassing them.
Well, Hitler.
7 years before I was born.
That's right.
Big, you know. And of course, since then you had I think in Cambodia, what they did there, and China, they killed all the communists, killed all the people in the Yangtze, you know. Well, so right here, the interesting to see where Trump goes, because Trump is either going to be good, the whole world will benefit, or if he is not good, you know, he's sort of yes, he's very popular, and then he does bad things. Well, the whole world's going to do the same thing. But if he does well, I think Australia is going to have a different type of parties and different type of leaders. Because the Labor and Liberal parties are no good in Australia.
If 10% of what Trump says happens, he'll be successful.
Well, you need
if he brings jobs back to America.
Well, yeah, and stops illegal migrants, which he wants to do. You know, like that wall thing. But he has to jobs and health security. I don't know why they can't have health security in America. I don't understand America. You know, because the big thing, the people are afraid, everybody in America when I went there was afraid of health costs. And they're all, if you work somewhere and they pay health insurance as part of your salary, you're really happy. Yeah. That's what they wanted. Australia, we don't have that. We got Medicare, and so you got sort of basically free hospital for most people. But if you want to pay extra, you got extra, a bit of extra. But in America, and the costs are health costs are very high in America, higher than Australia. So it'll be interesting next 5 years or so, you know, next 2 years, 3 years, and I hope this positive trend goes to Australia.
Well, it'll have to. The flow-on effect will have to happen.
Because our jobs are going. The jobs are going, and they need to restart the world, don't they? Start things going.
Well, I mean, look, put it this way.
Bring more people into Australia, but good people.
Well, no, but the truth is, the job's here, right? If you could get an apprenticeship, like I had a friend who started as a coach builder at the council. He said the money was crap, but at least he learned some skills, and then he could do something else. People need a chance to do something. The number of jobs here is pretty poor.
Yeah.
And that's it. You know, it's they had a guy called Fred Dipner. He used to do steam trains. He died, right? But he used to on TV. It was years ago, right? Talking the 90s. And he said England has become a nation of con man. We don't make anything.
Yeah.
He said we sell double glazing to each other. We've become a nation of, we make money out of financial services. We make money out of just bullshit. If nothing, we don't make a kettle or a TV. We don't make a fucking iron shovel or something. You know, we don't make anything like that. We sell fucking products to each other.
They used to sell Sheffield steel.
Well, that's exactly right. Silverware and all this stuff, but that's all gone now.
And the cutlery, you know.
And I mean, England itself. England was the
cars, you know.
England was the capital of the industrialized world because of the steam engines, and they were the leaders. And it's such a sad mess that they lost it all. England lost it all. Disaster, absolute disaster, and you can blame the fucking unions for that. The 3-day week didn't work either. If you go too left wing, it doesn't work. The workers knew best. At British Leyland, they wanted a 3-day week. They were lazy cunts. If you're going to be lazy cunts doing shit work, there's no jobs either. You've got to fucking work. No one wanted English cars. They were crap. That's why there's no car industry there.
Well, they had Austin. They had some good, reasonable cars.
They were garbage.
Austin was pretty good in the old days.